Hello again, it's Monday and I'm back here to talk about a book. This is the book F by Daniel Kehlmann, which is published by Quercus Books. Before I talk about the book itself, let's just have a quick bit of love for its cover. I do like a big bold cover, big vibrating F here on the front of its cover, and it reminded me of an article that was written by Jonathan Gibbs, who's an author and blogger who really likes book design, and he managed to gather together an A to Z of book covers which had used big bold letters like this on the front cover. I'll put a link to it here because it's really worth seeing. It's just a lovely bit of book design stuff if you're into that kind of thing. Back to the book. Kehlmann is very well regarded critically. I hadn't read any of his books before this one, and this book is covered in praise from people like Jeffrey Eugenides and Ian McEwan, the kind of names that are probably as likely to put some people off as on, but I did want to read his work and I'm very glad that I did. You'll be wondering why F. There are many F words that I'll discuss when talking about this book. I should just get on with it. So it begins with a fantastic scene actually. A father, there's our first F word, takes his three sons to go and see a stage hypnotist. He's called Arthur, and he is a writer, although not a very successful one. And he has three boys. Two of them are twins, Eric and Ivan, and then they have a half-brother who is called Martin. And they go to see the stage hypnotist, and Arthur, the father, is very, very vociferous about the fact that hypnotism does not work on him. But he does get dragged up on stage eventually, and in fact, whilst he's there, the great Lindemann says in his ear that after the performance that evening, he is to go out and do whatever it is that he wants to do with his life. Basically, he's given permission or even an order to go and do that. And despite saying, as I said, that hypnotism does not work on him, that evening he ends up getting his passport, clearing the bank account and basically disappearing. He does reappear intermittently throughout the boys' lives, and he certainly reappears through his work. He writes some novels, and one of them is particularly successful, and in fact so successful in its rather bleak outlook, the character F, who is in that novel, realises that life as we know it is an illusion and doesn't exist. And in fact, the novel is so bleak in its outlook that it inspires a spate of suicides by people who have read it. Anyway, we then flash forward to the boys being grown-up adults, and three brothers have taken very, very different paths in life. Martin is now a member of the clergy, but he is struggling with his faith. There's another F word. Eric has become a financier. There's another F word. And his brother Ivan has become a painter, an artist. And the interesting thing about the two twin brothers is that both of them are faking it in some way. There's another F word. They're both frauds. Eric has been literally defrauding his clients out of money, and his life is reaching a point at which he's going to face serious consequences. And his brother Ivan, the artist, has been working as a forger, essentially, as well as an art dealer, and making a lot of money by faking the artworks of another artist, and also being the person who gets to sell them. So all three brothers are faking it in some way in their lives, and that's why I think F is an incredibly important word. And they have a very interesting fraternal bond, because of course the two twins have this very special link, and the fact that is even more marked by the fact that Martin is only their half-brother. There are three chapters in the middle narrated by each of the three brothers, and they're all brilliant in very different ways, but you really get inside the heads of each of the brothers, and each of those strands crosses over with a few little events. It's brilliantly structured, this book. It's very, very clever. There is also another section where we get to see their family history, family, another important F word, going right back through their ancestry, and it's done in a very quick sort of potted form, and it's sort of almost dizzying with how much information that you get, but another interesting marker of style there. And then the book also goes further forward, and we see the offspring of these some of these brothers, and we see again how family is so important, how fatherhood is so important, and the effects of how we deal with the fallout from big life events. And in fact, there's another one that I won't mention today, which happens much later in the book, and it's to do with how the characters deal with that, which makes the ending of the book so interesting. It's a very stimulating book, as you can see. I am probably gabbling slightly, but that's because there's an awful lot to talk about in it. There's lots of interesting sort of philosophical thoughts that come up as you're reading it, a lot of humour as well, very, very enjoyable, very, very intelligent writing, and it does make me want to know what Kehlmann will write next. He seems like a very, very interesting writer. But F, his current novel, I say is well worth a look if anything I've said floats your boat. Next, I will be looking at probably either a graphic novel or actually I don't know. You'll just have to tune in and find out. But thank you for joining me this week, and I'll see you hopefully next week. Take care.